How do girls test you? We got to take it deep. I don't know how to talk mainstream, so we got to go deep. First thing, and this is why there's there's some cultures, even there's some things said in certain religious scriptures and tabloids that the woman's actually the Antichrist. Remember that movie Tombstone? Go see that. Have you guys saw that with Val Kilmer? That's his best movie. After I saw that movie, I went and saw, it's like 20 years old. I went and saw every movie he was in because I thought he was going to be like that. He played Doc Holliday. It's like a Western movie. Smooth. And there was a scene where this girl, he's always with this girl, right? And he's in bed and he's sick. He had some lung problems. And she's like, don't I take good care of you? And then she's putting a joint in his mouth, right? Because she knows he likes smoking weed. But he has emphysema, really bad. She's like, don't I take good care of you? He's like, yeah, but then again, you could be the Antichrist, you know? And then at the end, they took that scene out, actually. At the end, it shows, I lived in Hollywood, so I see the hidden scenes that got taken out. It shows them meeting. No, it shows him leaving to go help his friend. His friend's gonna die, like he's outnumbered. And she's like, well, what about me? He's like, what about me? He's like, this is my friend. Like, and she said something like, I won't be here when you get back. And he said, I'm not coming back. After he heard that, he said, I'm not coming back. And then again, she said, what about me? He says, I'm sure you'll find somebody else to give you a free meal ticket. And he left. Now, it's a movie. I'm not saying like every girl's like that, but I don't know. I just felt like telling you about that movie. They can't help it. The girls that are super selfish, they can't help it. They are wired that way, biologically. Like that software in them is very deep. Because it's like they have that instinct because they have kids and they want the security and all that stuff. So that bleeds through into their whole relation with men. Even if they don't want kids, doesn't matter. That instinct, take care of me, secure me, and all that, it's there. Now, if a guy already knows that and he enjoys that role, he wants to play that role, he gets some satisfaction of like, yeah, I'm the man, I'm handling stuff. Then it works really good. If you don't have that, it doesn't work good, you see? So my point is, the testing, it's not a vindictive conscious testing. Like she wakes up in the morning, she meets with her friends, she's like, how are we gonna test our guys today? It's not like that, it's unconscious, okay? The universe, and this is what, when they say that women are the Antichrist, this is how they're pointing at something, okay? That doesn't mean literally. God's using them on some level because God uses everything. There's no bad luck. God uses everything. All your trials and tribulations and challenges, etc. Those are all growth opportunities to get higher, to transcend these limitations and weaknesses that the human self has. A girl will find that stuff. All right? So God uses her. If she's the Antichrist, he's using the Antichrist to make you higher level. Look at it like that. Because it's her biological wiring that's doing it. It's not a conscious thing. So you have to understand that. Now, some higher girls, yeah, good luck. But you can have this conversation. Usually they're older. And they're like, yeah, man, like, this is my software. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, yeah, I'm working on it. I'm seeing it as best as I can. But, like, it's deep. That girl you can work with. See? I don't know where to find them, but you'll find them spontaneously. When you're ready for that, you find them. Law of attraction. That's why I keep telling you guys, you don't got to worry about nothing. How do I find her? You're going to find her when you're ready to find her. All right? I'll give two examples. I'll give two examples of unconsciousness. It's like It's like God was using her to test me. I mean, these are some weird. This was like 3 months ago. She's a massage therapist, and there's two things that happen in the course of like 3 days or something. The first thing, she sent me a picture of her. She looks nice, very fiery type of girl mess a guy up, you know. And she sent me kind of a seductive picture via WhatsApp. And I'm like, when I first see it, I'm like, what is this? Like, is she working me or something? Like, why is she sending me that? So I just replied back like with a smiley face, you see. Now back in the day, oh man, I'd have got so excited, you know. I'm like, whoa. So I replied with a smiley face. You know what she replied? She says, oh, sorry, that wasn't for you. Accident. Look, we can't, some are going to say, no, she did that intentionally. She wanted to see your response. Energetically, though, I felt it was a mistake. I've sent things to people, too. You can get in trouble for that. Jeez. Especially if you're talking to somebody, to your friend, and then you send to her or him what you're talking about to your friend, and you don't know it. Has that happened? That happened to me once in India. Oh, geez. That was, yeah. Okay, so anyway, that was one example. The other example, she was coming over to give me a massage, and she asked me, she wrote a message. She says, do you have a wife? Do you have a wife? And again, I'm like, okay, she sent me the picture. Okay, now, do I have a wife? I said, no, thank you. And then she said, oh no, I meant to ask, do you have Wi-Fi? Because sometimes, look, I know some of you are going to think I'm making excuses for her. I really don't think she meant to do this, but the universe meant to do it. They used her. The universe used her. She said, because when you're doing her phone's used to writing Spanish, so then when you type English, the autocorrect turns it into something. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. She consciously did it or not. That's not the point. Point is, you see how subtle that stuff is. You get called out. This is that example I gave is very deep unconscious test. Okay. What are some other ways? And see, when I say how do girls test us, testing synonymous with, like, you can say, how do girls disturb us? How do girls, like, rattle us inside? Okay, these things. So I wrote some things. Oh, I forgot the girlfriend when I was 15. We'd go to the swimming pool. I mean, there was once, I remember at night, we went to some swimming pool. The condo had a swimming pool, and a bunch of us were there. She didn't have her bathing suit, so she went in her underwear. And I saw how she was teasing people, man. She was like teasing, like working the guys and eating it up, that attention. And then I called her out on it. I said, what are you doing? You're a tease. What? She says, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm just swimming. I said, don't mess with me. I said, you know you're doing that. There's no way I can prove it. Like, how am I going to prove it? But you know you're doing it. She says, man, I'm not doing it. Now, was that unconscious, conscious, half unconscious, whatever? See, that's a way. I'm not with girls like that anymore. Not really with any girls. I like girls, like, if they sit over there and I sit here and we talk, I like it like that. That's how I was talking to a brother on the phone. I told him, I said, at some point you get to where you can enjoy the female exchange of energy. You don't need to be in a contract, and you don't need to be having sex. You just talk to them. You don't even have to talk to them at some point. Just go outside and see them, and you get a transmission. Once we're free of these, you can say, human instinctual desires. That's another story. How do you get free of that? There's no technique how to get free of that. You got to go through the grind, go through the process, and you get free at some point if you have a desire to be free. Before you can have a desire to be free, you have to know you're not free, though. Okay, so the girl at the swimming pool. Oh yeah, I don't like those those teasers. They're edgers. Same as guys. They're just edging, for attention. But that's another thing that can really rattle a guy. Another thing, this took me a while to put into words and articulate. I noticed, and this is more deep if you have a deficit of like female energy growing up, meaning your mother didn't give it to you, or your grandma or older sister, whatever. There's a deep subconscious craving that the guy wants the girl to acknowledge him and validate his accomplishments or his mental sharpness or his strength, physical, mental, whatever, stability, what he's doing in society, achieving his goals, success. Ooh, I made $1 million. Wow, sweetie, that's great. Like there's a deep, inordinate need that a man seeks out, usually unconsciously, to get that kind of attention, that validation from a woman. She knows that on some level. Now that I'm talking, I feel like this whole life is pretty much unconscious for the most part. Everyone's acting out these deeper subconscious tendencies and they don't know it. And that's why there's the fights and arguments, because you're talking about something that's not even happening. You're talking on a superficial level of what's going on, because nobody has the capacity to do this deep level of introspection that I'm trying to share. It just came to me. Anyway, so at some point she knows, she can tell by your reaction when she compliments you or validates you. She's on some level, unconscious, conscious, she's like, damn, he really, my recognition of him means a lot to him. She figures that out. So guess what she does if she's mad at you? She holds it back. This is a big thing. This is a big thing that you need to come to realize. Again, another way God is helping you to become deeply self-contained, to where you don't need compliments or validation from anybody. You and God are a majority. This is what I'm trying to say. That has to be real. Otherwise, that has to be actualized. Otherwise, we're going to be victim always to have some false dependency on some external validation that we're trying to get from a person, place, or thing, or whatever. That's why I say the highest purpose for a human being is to recognize your source, which is that which created you. To have this feeling, this relationship. If that's your main relationship, man, you're good. Of course, you're still a human being. Don't be like some of these spiritual foo-foos and I just never feel anything anymore. I'm just it's not like that. You still feel things, but you're not deeply disturbed anymore by them. That's my point. Another way a girl can test you is this emotional blackmail thing. Women have very strong emotional bodies. Let's say you have a house, there's 5 people, 4 guys and 1 girl. If the girl gets out of sorts emotionally, man, the whole house is affected. And same, if she's vibing high, she's like giving medicine to the whole house. Girls are very emotional. That emotion has a lot of energy. It can sting you or it can really uplift you. So she figures that out. She does it, even the little girls, 2 years old, look how they do with their dad to get what they want. They don't do it to their mom. Mom already knows. She's a girl. They do it to the dad. So they're conditioned from the get-go, because this software program, to work guys by this emotional blackmail thing. Now, the higher level girls don't do that. Again, I don't know where to find them. The universe will send them to you when you don't do silly things, you see? So they get mad at you, especially if they've been giving you affection and you're really eating it up. Like she saw that she took you from like I don't know, let's say you're vibing at a 5 from a scale of 1 to 10. And she's spending time with you and she sees you coming alive, like you're like walking off the ground. She's like, okay, good, got some influence. They don't calculate it. Again, like it's not like that, but I'm calculating. I'm saying, articulating a lot of times what's going on unconscious level. That's what I'm doing right now. So then you do something she don't like, whatever. We don't need to list an example, like whatever. And then she's like, something switches that attention and affection off. She goes into kind of silent mode, emotional blackmail. And then you're like, what happened, right? The guy acts like he's really concerned, but really he's concerned because he's not getting his hit anymore. The female energy is a drug. Everybody's an addict. This is so they figure that out, the girls. Again, a guy that's really self-contained, you get to where you're not moved inside by external things happening in a good way. You don't get all excited, but also if they're happening so-called negatively, you don't like, oh no, I gotta get high now because I don't feel good. You gotta develop the relationship with your own inner source, and then you're more balanced. So a guy that's more balanced, he understands what I'm saying right now. He understands he signed up for that if he's with the girl in some physical partnership. So when she does that, he gives space. He holds space for that. Then at some point, it's all about timing. He'll bring that up. He'll say, look, I noticed when something like this, I did this, and then all of a sudden you kind of switched off, and then I asked what was wrong, and you said nothing. And you see, this is what mature couples do. You don't need to go to a counselor. When you have this direct experience, you're higher than any counselor is ever going to be who just reads books. I mean, there's no comparison. So then you guys, the higher level, more mature couple, you talk about this, you look at this stuff so that you can transcend it because you want to feel the connection. I would keep trying to tell this girl that some years ago, there would be some disturbance between us, and then she'd just want to have sex. I'm like, you're just trying to sexualize this thing away, man. You're sweeping this stuff under the carpet. It's going to keep building, and then we're going to have trouble. Let's look at this stuff. She didn't want to look at it. She'd go home. All right, so this is life experience. Like you can't just override all that, your experience, and skip all that because you like heard somebody break it down. We still got to go through this, okay? So you just you signed up for this special training. It's no different than when you're playing a video game. You're playing the character and he's going through all this strife. Your consciousness is playing this human character. It wants to experience all this. So be patient, do the best you can, don't judge yourself, be as conscious as you can, and let the show go on. Don't trip so hard. Yeah, I know you can't help it, but what else am I going to say? All right, see you.